Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your hosts, Justin and BJ, where we talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, sometimes you cry, sometimes we cry. You hate on our takes, but just don't let us know unless it's been 3 days. You can let us know by emailing us at the email box, the number 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com, and let us know what you think. We're getting a lot of feedback and interaction on the IG, Justin. So good job setting that up.
Hey, I do what I can.
Yeah, you
Just
do
the little
more
things
than
in
you
life.
can. That's right. That's right. It's been good. It's been good. I don't. We normally go into our last 3 days, but we have a very special guest with us today, and we want to introduce the world. We didn't tell her this, but our friend and longtime friend, Cara Napieu, used to be Napieu. What is your last name now? Green. I don't know if I could say that. You didn't say it was off limits, so.
True. Yep. She didn't say off limits. You're 100%.
She didn't.
We went through all this before.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
No, it's okay.
We were talking a little bit about this before and kind of telling Cara what we kind of go through and things like that. Really what the podcast has been about relationships and our relationships with our friends over the years and different stories that get brought up and different things like that. So it's a pleasure to have you on. We were talking pre-show just a little bit. It's been almost 20 years since I've seen Cara. And that's crazy. A lot has happened in 20 years, but welcome to the podcast, Cara. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, the first important question is, have you listened to our podcast before?
Yes.
Oh, now are you a 5-minute listener or a 5-episode listener? It's okay.
I'm a 5-minute.
There you go. It's fair.
I listened to your podcast with the WNBA photographer.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
One of our prouder moments.
She gets brought up a lot. She shot our wedding, did the photos for our wedding, and just a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to brag on her a little bit. She's my wife's cousin, and so we connected that way. But she took a photo at the Sparks game of a legacy photo. Had Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie in that photo, and it went viral. And she's gotten notoriety all across the NBA and all across the country. And so, yeah, that was probably one of our most listened to episodes for sure. So
that's really cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was really interesting.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where, I put my foot in my mouth or I say something and then it gets brought up later on. So it was kind of cool. It was a good perspective. I still, that's the one interview that when people say, what's your favorite one? I always go to that one just because it has a backstory to it a little bit. And, and when you say, oh, you talk to somebody who's actually related to something that people know about, when we're just two goofballs that sit here on Sundays and record.
Yeah, for sure. Well, keeping it a little bit lighthearted, as you said, you kind of insert your foot in your mouth. I'm curious to know, Cara, because you and Justin were friends before I came around, and then you guys just kind of adopted me into your circle, or you guys had to bring me in. I don't know how that all worked out, but tell me a memory you have, Cara, of Justin inserting his foot into his mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, that's tough. I mean, there's a lot, but sorry, Justin.
You're fine. It's okay. This is where all the skeletons come out. All of them.
Man. I don't know if I can think of one specific thing. I feel like it's funny. I'll be honest. I don't remember Justin being that goofy. Justin, you were fun. You always had a lot of nice things. I don't know, interesting things to talk about, and hence why you're doing a podcast now. But I don't remember you saying stuff that was weird or I don't remember. So.
He was in high school. He was just kind of that. He was Justin. It's kind of like he is today. I mean, he's going to say whatever he wants to say and be who he is. That's what makes Justin Justin. And I think that's probably where you're going to, because Justin was just, that's who he was. And We just
It's
knew
like,
what we were going to get with him for sure.
right. Like cool, fun to be around and like chill, pretty chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, even with my bad hair.
That, yes. Okay, this is
Here we go. I thought this is where it's going to
and
go.
I told my coworker about this recently, and I cannot remember how it came up. But I was thinking about you, and because something came up about painting our nails, and I remember when you would play basketball. Yes, you would paint your pinky. And then I also remember you asked me once. You were like, "I painted my pinky, but how do I get this off?" You said, I tried to wash it off, and it didn't want to come off. And I had to tell you have to use nail polish remover.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. And I told my friend at work, I was like, and he had a sister.
But she was way...
Well, it's way younger.
Yeah. I don't even know if she was wearing nail polish at the time.
Sure. I mean, you also have a mom, but...
yeah, probably.
I was glad
probably could have. That would have been like one of our conversations that we had, like at from midnight to 2 a.m. or something, and probably. I didn't want to wake anybody up to go ask about removing it. Now that everybody knows that we're fingernail polish. No,
I think for basketball games, and not
only for basketball games.
Yeah,
you're right. And it was like silverish, like barely could tell. Yeah. I don't even know. Someone's going to correct me on this. I don't even know where it started.
Yeah, I don't either. But,
I feel like it started with somebody in the youth group, but I don't remember who. Probably. Someone's going to correct me. Someone's going to be like, how could you forget? I'm the one that told you to do that. And I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But BJ's not questioning our friendship now. So.
I do not remember that at all. And that's crazy. We played a lot of basketball together.
Kept it on the down low. I don't usually show you my hands. I'm just like, hey, take a look at these. Yeah. Look at my fingers.
You weren't like John Cena in it or nothing,
No, wish I would have. It would have made money off of that.
Some people have their lucky socks, and other people have their lucky fingernail.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I felt like
sounded really weird.
Your lucky fingernail. Well, yeah, you can go a lot of different ways with that lucky fingernail.
Yeah.
I don't have note to self people. I don't have a drug problem. Don't worry. No drug problems here.
Which, speaking of high school memories, that was one of the things that was always talked about. Is Justin always had to have orange juice.
That's a good story.
And your brother and many others used to think you were always doing drugs.
Addict.
Yeah.
Because of 90210 when Dylan drank. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he had to drink.
So my brother literally thought I was on drugs constantly. I still enjoy orange juice.
That's so funny.
I thought you were going to say I still enjoy drugs.
I still enjoy just legal ones. The OTCs, just OTCs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the ones that actually make you feel good. Well, the other ones make you feel good, but you can go to jail for them. But
oh man,
that's true.
That's funny.
Carl, what year did you move to Lincoln, Nebraska?
What year did what?
No, you grew up in Lincoln.
What
year did you? Sorry, I meant to ask you. What year did you start coming to the church? To which would have been Lincoln First Church, now known as Connecting Point. What brought you to that church?
Kara Offit, now Kara Craig, brought me because we were in elementary school together. So she moved to Lincoln, I think, when I was in 6th grade, and we were at the same school. We were in different classes, but somehow I don't even remember what class we met in, but we became friends, and then realized that we lived just like maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from each other.
No, you guys went to Zeeman, didn't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which I lived next door to.
Went, right?
Yeah, and I literally lived next. Like I can see Zeeman out my window right now.
You live like really close to them. Yes.
Yeah.
So I started coming to youth group that same year. So that I would have been 12, I think.
Okay.
I think I was 12 in 6th grade or 11. So that would have been like that would have been like 1992. Yeah. Does that sound right?
Probably. My math is bad on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could girl math it, and I wouldn't even know the difference.
That's probably about right because we moved there in '97.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you were a year older than me in school, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Okay.
Or no, you're no.
She graduated the same year I did.
Yeah, you're 3 years ahead of me. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So that's a long time ago. That's crazy to think. But I think I started out going just with Sundays. Like Kara's family would come and pick me up, and then I think I would just go to Sunday service. That was, I think, how it started. And then eventually I started going on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long after that it was that I met you, Justin, but
who knows? It's just one of those things that happens, and we don't write these things down for later podcasts. Yeah. We don't think about those things. But but you went to Southeast, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We should vet these guests. Justin and I were both. We both went to East. Your brother, though, went to Southeast.
Yeah, well, he didn't really go to Southeast.
Well, he started there.
Did he?
True. No, he did, but then he didn't finish there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I remember, though, and maybe I'm remembering wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the really cool things about being the new kid in town, coming in high school, was listening to you girls sing.
Oh.
And that group that we had from our church with you in it, Cara, and you guys were awesome. And that was always a joy to be able to go to those competitions and different things together and know that, our whole group would be sitting there waiting for your group to sing. And that was really cool. So that's one of my fond memories of you in high school for sure was being able to watch you guys do your thing for sure.
Oh, thank you.
BJ, pulling out the memories.
I know. I love it.
Well, I'm known for kind of taking this a little bit deeper. So
yeah, no,
those things that mattered a little bit more. We played basketball and Justin painted his fingernail, and the other Justin sprayed perfume all over himself. I mean, we could go down the road we want to go, but no, the girls sang and did a great job for sure. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I loved being in that group. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of good memories and interesting experiences, and I still love to sing.
Do you? Good.
Yeah, I do. I've been since then I've been in lots of choirs. I sang in worship team at our church for a while, but I haven't done that in a while. But this fall I'm planning to start back up in a local choir. That our neighbor works at this theater, and they have a choir that meets there. So he told me about it. Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
That's really cool. I worked with a lady before I switched jobs recently, and she just retired. She's 70 years old, but she sings in a community choir, and their choir just this last Christmas or Thanksgiving time frame, they went and sang in New York at Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
And she was like, it was pretty impressive. She brought video back and stuff, but she was pretty psyched to go to New York City and do that. But yeah, those community choirs, they can be the real deal for sure.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I've never really been a part of a community choir. I've been a part of so many like church choirs and choir in school, but it'll be interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, 20 years. We talked a little bit pre-show about the last time we were together. All three of us together was almost 20 years ago. And quite a long time ago. Tell us a little bit, Cara, where has the world taken you since high school, and what are you doing nowadays?
Yes. So, since high school, I went to college at Mid-America, and then came back to Lincoln for a couple of years. Then moved to Minneapolis for 3 years and worked for Ameriprise Financial, and then moved to Boston for 6 years, where I worked for Boston University, and then decided to go back to school to become a teacher. So I actually did things a little backwards. A lot of people moved to Boston to go to school. I moved away from Boston to go to school. So full transparency, I applied to one school in Boston. I honestly knew that I didn't want to stay for 3 more years, which is how long the program would have been. So that's why I only applied to one and didn't have high hopes that I would get in. And I didn't get in. And then I applied to schools in Minnesota, which is where I really wanted to come back to anyway, and got accepted to the one that I was really hoping to get accepted at, and then moved back and started school. And so that's kind of taken me to here. So I was in education for like 9 years, like elementary ed. And then, let's see, two years ago, I left teaching, which was a huge decision to come to, but a lot of soul searching, prayer, and just trying to think like, what else do I want to do with my life, led me to leave that profession. And I'm currently working for a nonprofit that supports immigrants and refugees. And I love my job. I'm very, very thankful that I landed where I did. So that's kind of, yeah, in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
Many years of my life.
You're married.
I am married, yes.
How long have you been married, Cara?
We will celebrate 9 years next week.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I remember the wedding like yesterday.
Yes, I know. Me too. Yes, still my favorite day.
Yeah, that was a fun. Becky and I took a long weekend trip to, well, it was north of the cities. I don't remember what town it was in, but
Mora. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good trip.
Yeah. Yes.
And then
memories.
And then you guys, what part of you live in Minneapolis or a suburb?
Yep, we live right in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we lived. So when all this stuff was going down, like with the George Floyd, when George Floyd was murdered, we lived just like a few blocks from that police precinct. So it was trying, and a little scary during that time, obviously. And we were renting at the time, but we bought a house about 4 years ago. That's still in Minneapolis, but just in a different, like, I don't know. It's maybe like 10-minute drive from our old house.
So I know I don't want to go down this rabbit trail and spend too much time here, but just out of curiosity, being where I live in Portland, where, all the stuff, the riots and everything took place, and the trying to, just kind of the sit in, if you will, to try to overturn all of the police and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And many different times. Is there still residual effects from the George Floyd situation?
Yes. So I would say, just in terms of how our city has changed, like there's like, if you were here, like I could drive you around where like all the main rioting happened and show you like all the lasting effects. Certain buildings are still gone. Some buildings you drive past, you can still see like evidence of damage. Some buildings, like there's a Target over there that has been completely remodeled, redone. So you can see evidence of that because there's like this really cool mural on the outside of it that didn't used to be there. So our city is just really forever changed because of what happened with all of that. And then, that was during COVID. Mm-hmm. So Minneapolis had, just like most cities do, have a homeless problem that has definitely gotten worse since COVID. And, a lot of it is drug related, and we see evidence of that. So we sadly would go for walks during COVID and count needles on the ground. And it wasn't like, we would get to like 6 and that would feel like a lot, but we had gone for like an hour walk and would see 6 needles. And that feels like a lot because you shouldn't be seeing those at all.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It's crazy. And I think the reason I asked that question is when
Mm-hmm.
we're removed from the locale of certain historical places that
Mm-hmm.
and things that go down,
Yeah.
we hear all about it, but we don't really know what took place, and
Right.
what's really the residual of the effect of that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, out here in Portland, locals that are here in Portland talk about how beautiful the city used to be and the Rose Quarter and all of these things. And now Portland is a dump. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you're talking about. I mean, the homeless population is it's just crazy in
Yeah.
how it's exploded for various reasons, as you said. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to me, I'm reminded of these places where we get a glimpse into what humanity,
Right.
the depravity of humanity, but also sometimes the beauty of
Mm-hmm.
humanity and how we can rally together. Sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot, no pun intended. But I mean, we we've got to be the only species that will take care of our own better than anybody, but we'll also kill our own.
Right.
And it's just ridiculous, the polar
I,
opposites in those places for sure.
yes. Yes. Um, I will just add, I still think Minneapolis is a beautiful city, but also you just see those areas where it's just sad and it's changed. And I remember the first time that my parents visited post COVID, my mom just could not. And my parents love Minneapolis. I mean,
Yeah.
they are why I fell in love with Minnesota in the first place because of how much they've always loved it here. But the first time that my parents visited, I was driving with my mom through certain parts and she just could not believe it. Just the change and the graffiti and just in certain areas. But anyway, but it's still just, there's beautiful parts. There's really beautiful areas still too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to add that.
It is nice when we love where we live too. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
where I'm at now. I love being out here where nature is just incredible, and you get to
Mm-hmm.
see. We went to the coast for 4th of July, and
Mm-hmm.
I told my kids, I'm like, can you just believe that we live in a place where we can go through the mountains to get to the ocean in an hour, and just the beauty that is around us is incredible. So
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference when you love where you
Mm-hmm.
live, and even if it is Lincoln, Nebraska. Justin.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. Our city's beautiful. It's because I live here. That's why it's beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
No, but it is true though when you live in a smaller metro area and hearing things and knowing people that live in those areas, like Cars talked about, with the Floyd situation. It's just, yeah, I haven't seen Minneapolis since then. Becky and I and our kids have gone to Minneapolis prior to that and enjoy it. Actually, we're looking at doing another trip that way at some point. But I haven't seen it or heard it. You just hear or see what's reported, right? Until you put your eyes on it, you don't really know. You can't create your own narrative, your own perspective on it until you actually go see it again. So
Right. Yeah.
Yep,
Come
that's
come
good.
visit, both of you.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, we were watching some show, and I was talking to my wife and her son, and just was like asking them if they'd ever been. They haven't traveled as much as I have, and so they
Okay.
were talking about Minneapolis and Minnesota, and
Yeah.
they asked me if I'd ever been. I said, yeah, I'd been, but it's been a long time since I've been there. I would love to go back. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's still
but
no tax on clothing.
Still no tax on clothing.
I bought this will throw back to a
oh geez,
common denominator. I was dating Taylor at the time, and
Hmm.
her grandmother died, and she lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we went up for her funeral. And I remember getting
Mhm.
a Columbia jacket in the mall there
Oh,
because there was
yeah.
no tax, and so I bought
Yep.
this jacket. I wore that jacket, I don't know for how long, for a long time.
did you go to Mall of America?
No, it was
Okay.
some other strip mall wherever
Oh.
they lived somewhere.
Hmm.
I can't remember where they lived.
Hmm.
Being a
So,
local car, you probably you don't go to Mall of America, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do go? All right.
A lot of people that I talk to, like, don't like that are from here, don't like Mall of America, that like have lived here for a long
Yeah,
time.
that's why I made my comments, because
Yeah,
that's what I
still
hear.
love it.
Okay.
And, like, if I just need to do like a quick shopping trip, I won't go to Mall of America. Also, because it's further from my house. Like, there's a mall that's closer that I would go to first. But sometimes I just want to go. It's like fun to walk around, and you can, there's like interesting things to eat and see, and
It's good people watching.
it's great people watching. Yes, and you can shop. So, and
Yeah, you can
as you know,
shop all day.
so-
As much as I love shopping,
I know.
I think I've probably been on plenty of shopping trips with Cara before.
I was going to say, but we know Cara loves to shop, so that's good.
Oh my gosh. Many mall trips in Lincoln, that's for sure.
Yes, I know. Yeah, you would just sit on a bench.
I went along. I went along, and you got to hang out with all the cool people.
Exactly.
I don't really think you guys wanted me around, to be honest with you, but it's all right.
We clearly did.
I know. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Got all my fashion tips from Cara back in the day.
Oh, you're welcome.
Some of them. I'm surprised she didn't talk about my clothing options probably back in the day.
I'm surprised
I thought about going that route.
Yeah, I thought you might. Hey, it's trendy now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Just the style that we used to wear in high school, and watching it come back. And my son, my oldest son, I just played golf with him today. He got into the whole vintage clothing stuff, and like all this, like he was following this guy, and we had one of these shops here in town that he'd want to go shop at. And I went in there one day with him, and the t-shirts this guy's selling for like $40-50, and I'm like, I bought that thing at Kmart when I worked there on clearance. And now I'm not going to pay $40 when I paid $3 for it back in 1998.
Right. Yeah.
And then here's Cara. She's like, I would never be content in Kmart buys. She's like, if you worked there, I would have never came and saw you.
I would have.
We did work there.
I know. Did you see her come visit? Nope. It's okay.
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember where a Kmart was in Lincoln. Oh, on O Street?
No, on Edgewood Shopping Center.
Oh.
Way over there behind, up on the hill, like in front of Super Saver. Like off to the right of Super Saver, like towards Highway 2.
Oh,
Nebraska Parkway.
Okay.
It's got
back in the day, it was the same parking lot as Target. Like Target was just up the parking lot from there.
Correct. I mean, it's a big parking lot.
It is, yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be the shopping place, and if you had to park in the overflow parking of Laszlo's, it's that area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's not Super Saver, but the other area there.
Yeah.
Anyways. Lasting impression. What was the name of that store that we used to take me down to downtown? Used to shop at downtown by the zoo bar. Post and Nickel.
Yes. Oh, that was so cool.
You used to take me. We used to go there all the time. You're like, I go buy these $900 jeans. Let's go down here.
I have never spent $900 on jeans.
Well, you at least looked at them.
Yeah, I definitely looked at them, but
for 3 hours. That bench had my butt print in it forever.
No.
So it's all good.
Oh man. Yes, I definitely used to shop there a lot, and I was really sad when they closed. But yeah, they finally closed.
Does your husband enjoy shopping, or is he a bench sitter?
He's a bench sitter. He will shop, but he shops kind of like I remember you shopping, Justin, where like he knows what he wants to get. We go in, he looks, finds what he needs, and then he's done. So that's
man on a mission.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no wait. There's no reason to wait around.
Right.
Efficiency and effectiveness.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. We don't need to be in a store for 3 hours.
I think that I will say I do still really enjoy shopping, but I am more efficient. I think I used to be more of like when I was like in high school, we would like hang out at the mall with
Well, yeah, so that was before like phones and stuff. That's the
Yeah.
only place you could go to and hang out. That was like your social media. Well, a lot of people's
Yeah.
social media. I mean, everybody did that. If you didn't go to the mall to hang out, well, it
Hmm.
depends on which mall you went to.
Hmm.
In Lincoln, you had to go to the right mall.
That's true.
Yeah, so because you went the wrong one, phew, heavens forbid
I
they
know.
would ever talk to you again. Um, so yeah, that was like the social, and then now like kids are like back hanging out at the mall again. It's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I
I
don't
know.
know. Maybe it's that grunge clothing that's getting stuck in that trend, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna go back here. This is what we do: sit out here
Yeah.
and annoy people. Maybe it's just because we're getting older. Kids are just annoying. That's more.
Oh, weird. I know. I know. Yeah.
So, any family connections back to in Lincoln? I think you said your mom moved recently, right?
My mom moved, yes. So she moved away in May. She sold her house where they had lived for 40, almost 40 years. Well, let's see. Yeah, almost 40 years. And yeah, so my mom is based here now in Minnesota, but she's just living her best life and has been off in Florida for the last 2 months, and she'll be there till the end of this month. So she's
Yeah, that was the
young,
last time that I saw Kara was at Kara's dad's funeral or
yeah,
his visitation. I didn't make
yeah,
it to the
his
funeral.
visitation. Yeah,
But that just seems like that was, to me, it seems like long ago already. Like, to me, it seems like it's already been a while. I don't even, how long has it been?
it has been a year and like 3 months about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it like yesterday. I remember coming
Yeah.
with Kara to it. And I remember talking to you and
Yes.
talking to Brian and talking to your mom and then talking to your mom afterwards. And then, yeah. And then life just gets in the way, unfortunately.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. It was just a blur of time for me, for like my family, my mom too. Just I still like I think back last year at this time, and I don't know really what I was doing with myself. I just was like trying to get through the day, honestly, because it just was, it's like such, we knew it was coming, but it's still like such a shock to the system to just have this person who's like such an important staple in your life just no longer
yeah.
around. I know you've both been through losses. But, yeah.
I was just going to ask you, just kind of make sure I'm not in this boat by myself. But I mean, this summer will be 10 years since my sister passed away.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember vividly at her funeral, well, after her funeral, and having to go back home because we lived in Missouri at the time. And I remember going to the graveside just by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and she's buried in a place in Wichita where there's a highway next to it, and I mean it's busy,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of stuff going on. And
Uh-huh.
when I would go to the graveside, I would just talk to her like she was there, and just
Yeah.
have those interactions. Well, I just remember saying to her grave,
Yeah.
to her, I said, "Beth, we'll never forget you, even though we have to move on."
Mhm.
And it is. I mean, it just never goes away. And I mean,
Yeah.
you're a year out on it, and it's a blur. Those moments are a blur. I remember telling somebody the other day, I remember vividly sitting in my mom and dad's house going through stuff like it was yesterday. And
Mhm.
that night was like we went through all the stages of grief in one night, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just, it is a blur. It's crazy. So,
It is. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just, I mean, whew, it was truly the hardest thing that I've ever been through and the most beautiful.
Mhm.
Because we got to my dad. So my dad was in hospice for a week, got to come back home. He decided to discontinue his treatment because it just wasn't working and wreaking havoc on his body. And he was just in a lot of pain. And I think more than he even let on. So getting to just be home with him and just care for him in that last week was like such an incredible gift from the Lord, which I wouldn't change anything. Obviously, I wish he was still here, but I know that he's in a better place and he doesn't have pain and he's in freedom. And I just feel so thankful. So thankful for that.
I would see your parents around Lincoln.
Yeah, they would always see me.
Yeah, they would always tell you, I ran into Justin, or hey, have you talked to Cara? And it was never about the reason why I was seeing them or where I was seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't always exciting places where I was seeing them either.
Yeah.
And so knowing just a very fraction of what your dad was going through,
mm-hmm.
And obviously, working where I did, I had to respect that privacy sometimes too.
Yeah.
And yeah. And it was always nice because they would always open up and talk about it, and then I'd be like, ah, crap, I haven't talked to Cara in a while. She probably changed her number. She forgot about me. And then sure enough, she did it. So she's still taking my calls. But I know that always around the holidays we would always try to get together and do stuff. So, but yes, yeah, your dad was always. Every time I talked to your dad would always ask me about riding my bike.
Oh yes, yes.
He just loved his bikes.
Yes, man.
Well, and his accordions and. What else? I don't know what else he had. He had so much stuff. He collected so much good stuff.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he had expensive taste and liked to buy things. He liked to buy things, a lot of things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember telling him how much I used to ride my bike a lot. And back in high school, I would do that. And once he caught an ear of that, he wouldn't let me let him go.
Oh, I'm sure.
He always had a bike in the kitchen. I remember that. I remember coming to your house and you have a bike in the kitchen. You'd be watching TV and me working on a bike.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, those memories.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's a lot of good memories. Thank goodness.
Yeah, those memories will always be there. I haven't experienced anything like that. Just through you guys and BJ, it's crazy to think it's been 10 years. I still remember it like it was. We've talked about this in the podcast before, but I remember the day. I remember everything about that day. I remember.
Her oldest daughter, Reese, just had a baby. He just turned 1, so she would have been a grandma. And she would have been the coolest grandma in the world. I tell my kids all the time, since I remarried my kids, so my wife, she's got twin sisters, and they're, her kids, those are the fun aunts, and those are the crazy aunts, and my kids lost out on their fun aunt. And we got to go meet Heidi's sisters it's been a few months ago now, and I remember my daughter saying to me, Dad, it's kind of sad because they have their fun aunt and I don't have one anymore. And not, she has an aunt, but it's not Aunt Beth, but Heidi's sisters have kind of taken in my daughter. She's going to school out there where they live. And so it's been kind of cool how that's all worked. But yeah, it's 10 years and watching Reese and have a baby, and Logan's her boy he's 16 now, and it's crazy. So,
oh my goodness,
time flies.
It does. And they were just little things when she passed.
Yeah. We were just talking about it when Logan turned 16. He was at my parents' house not too long ago, and I was talking to my kids. I remember that night when we had to tell him at 6 years old that his mom wasn't coming home. Those are hard. I mean, they say time heals all wounds. I disagree with that 100%, but what time does allow is it allows you to continue to have the fond memories. And what I think time does is it eliminates the bad memories.
Yeah.
And there's my sister and I, we had a love-hate relationship much of our life, and yet what time does is it eliminates the bad memories, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, that is such a gift.
Yeah, for sure. You know, our mind is one of those things that's fleeting at times, and I'm curious. We like we told you pre-show, the time just kind of flies
Right.
when we're doing this. You mentioned you're working for a nonprofit. I'm going to try to switch gears here if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What kind of work do you do?
Yeah.
And since my time of coming out of the church world, and I've been in a couple different nonprofits, and so I'm just
Oh, okay.
selfishly curious as to what you do and how that's going for you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going great. I've been there just over a year. It was a year in May. So yeah, it's a nonprofit, and our primary goal is to provide support to new Americans. That has a wide definition, but immigrants and refugees. And so we serve people that have lived in the United States since they were babies, all the way to people that have just arrived. There's not many people that have just arrived now, but yeah. So then my primary role, I work as an employment counselor, and we have a lot of different programming that's available to our clients. But the program that I work in is a nursing assistant training program. And so I help them once they graduate from our class. I help them find jobs around the Twin Cities as nursing assistants. Yeah.
What can I ask? What is the primary place that you're getting your clientele from? Like, what country are they coming from primarily?
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm thinking about like last fiscal year, which ended in it would have ended in the fall. Our highest, if I'm remembering right, our highest number of clients came from Cameroon.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of African countries. Cameroon, we have a fair amount from Kenya, Somalia, quite a few from Ethiopia and Eritrea. And then we get some from like Burma, Myanmar, Thailand, but primarily African countries.
So with any nonprofit, as you know, and I mean, we've all worked with different nonprofits in different ways, but what would you say is your greatest need from a standpoint of your organization?
That is a good question.
Coming in hot with them. Here he is.
Yeah. I think if you would have asked me that like back in pre-January 20th, I would have said like donations, because we were one of the main organizations in like federal funded organizations that helped with placement of refugees and immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has like all these different rules that you have to follow. So I would have said like donations in terms of like
monetarily,
food, not
food.
necessarily monetarily, but yes, that would
like
be helpful.
Clothing,
but also
food.
like clothing, things to set up a house, an apartment.
Yeah,
that kind of
apartment.
stuff.
Yeah, household items.
Right.
Yeah.
That program, our refugee services department, is really no longer. And those people were laid off really right away once the new administration took over.
Wow.
So that has changed. So I hesitate a little bit because obviously it's a nonprofit. Like the easy answer is money. However, my understanding, I don't really do anything related to budgets or like giving or development, but my understanding is that we are doing okay, other than other areas that had to be cut.
Sure.
My program gets most of its funding from the state of Minnesota.
Okay.
And then also like private donors can donate. So I would say our primary, and my area is thriving. So I would say that like the biggest need we have is more time.
Yeah.
Which isn't really something obviously we can ask for.
Sure.
But it's a lot. I mean, we have 3 classes of students going on at all times. So it's a lot to keep on top of, but it's really enjoyable work.
As also, I'm just speaking from my own experience, so pardon my ignorance here, but from as somebody who's gone through the workforce recently and trying to get a job, and you're trying to place these people into positions, into jobs. Are you finding with the job market the way that it is? What are some of your challenges you're finding when it comes to placing refugees in workplaces? Or do you have something? I mean, we went to a church that had a work program for refugees here in the capital city here, and they had a shop that helped train them and then give them a skill, and then they were able to employ them as well. But yours is a little bit different if you're talking about nursing.
Right.
What are you finding in challenges with the job market there?
Yeah. So, similar, I mean, I'll start out similarly. If you would have asked me that like 2 months ago, I would have said we don't have very many obstacles to students finding jobs.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's going to be language barrier. You're going into a healthcare setting. You have to be able to communicate clearly. So our students, not every program at my organization requires like a test to get in, but my program does because of that. So they have to have a certain level of English understanding. So they test before they start the program, and then they go through an interview process. And then, so of course, so I'm just saying that because that can be a hindrance to them getting a job. Now, obviously we're in summer, and then the economy is shifting. So we have seen a lot less jobs. It's a lot slower with the job market. I worked with one student in particular that I can think of she would be great. She's very savvy. She has a really strong academic background. She's had maybe 4 interviews and has not gotten the jobs. And I have worked with her and we've done interview practice. And so sometimes you just don't know. You just don't know why. And I tell our students, like, we've all of us, no matter what our background is, have gone to job interviews and not gotten the jobs, or most of us. And that's part of the process. So I just kind of say we have to roll with it. So that, I don't feel like that directly answers your question, but there are some hindrances, but there's also a lot of things that are good in the job market right now. And I think there are jobs available. They're just a little slower, harder to get. Yeah.
And part of the nonprofit you work for, I think you had told me previously, they do other things like hospitality programs and some other things too. Like, I don't remember all the things, but it's not just nursing. There's a lot of different programs that they offer, and especially in a big market like Minneapolis area, there's a lot of opportunities, or there should be an opportunity for everybody. Yeah.
We do. We have a dietary aid program. So that is for people that might want to work in food service, in a hospital, sometimes in a school. We also have a hospitality program, which Justin mentioned, where people are trained on working maybe like at a hotel, cleaning a room, all of that kind of stuff. They might work in like an office building. We have an office assistant class to teach like office skills, Microsoft Word type things. And we have a lot of programs. We also have a program called College Readiness, where we help people that want to go to college. We help just prep them for college. We have 2 different tracks. One of them gives them 3 college credits that they can use at some of the Minnesota state schools. And then the other track does not give them credits, but still prepares them for like to be college ready, basically. So I mean, the list just goes on, but that's again, in a nutshell, what we offer. So a lot, just trying to do whatever we can to help better our community. That's really kind of our MO.
That's good. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's huge. I think
Yeah, and if anybody would like to give to Kara's nonprofit, you can contact her through our 3-day-old podcast at gmail.com, because we can put you in contact with her. I think there's an opportunity. I think sometimes you never know where these podcasts, where our podcast ends up at. You never know. But, this is important because there's employers and stuff that have programs out there that, they could set up by having these working relationships with these nonprofits that can help placements and stuff like that. So if anybody knows, anybody listening to that, out of respect of her employer, Cara's not saying it, that's fine. And we can work through those connections and go through there. So anybody who's listening, just let us know. Sorry, BJ, I cut you off there.
No, that's good. I mean, as I was most recently, I was the executive director for a nonprofit, and donations monetarily as well as supplies and all that is key. And so, I'm glad you said that. And without, we want to respect where Cara is at and what she's doing, but also we want to be able to help if we can. So if you're interested, email us the number 3 at 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get you in touch with Cara.
Or just find Cara on all of her LinkedIn,
her MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Very active on MySpace.
Yeah.
You're not active on anything. What are you talking about? Well, actually, I find it funny. Every time I see something posted from you, I'm like, okay, what happened? She got on Facebook. Something happened in the life of... yeah, or she got hacked with it too. Yeah. So that's always kind of a running joke that Cara's not really on social media a lot. Well, she doesn't post. She might peruse, but she doesn't.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
But I am an avid creeper on Instagram. I just scroll, but I do not have any presence on there.
Maybe I'll stop sending BJ all of the reels and I'll send them to Cara now.
She'll respond.
Yeah. See if she responds. She starts blocking me. I find all the good ones. BJ, I think, what'd you say? Was it last week or a couple weeks ago? I think you said it on the podcast about Instagram reels about people fighting in the streets, like street fighting ones.
Yeah, like street fighting ones.
Oh, yeah. So you just go down the rabbit hole of those.
Sometimes, yeah. But I mean, there's some, Cara, if he starts sending you reels, let me just give you a tip or a word of advice.
Turn off your notifications.
You turn off your notifications, one, but secondly, I mean, you really only need to watch about a third of them. The rest of them just aren't worth it. So
no, it's just like, I get it. I won't judge you.
And then I'll just forward them to you, BJ. Is that?
Yeah.
You would do that, yeah.
Here, I'll just.
I think Justin was trying to reach you. Can you?
I think he's talking about your extended car warranty. Your extended car warranty. He's kind of trying to contact you.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. No. All right. All good. All good with the silliness. I'll just create a new group and put you both in there and just call it.
There you go. Yeah. That's what we should do. We did this. So, Cara, Justin did this. Actually, it was Jeff's idea.
Yeah.
Jeff Heaston, he came out here to Oregon and we had dinner one night, and he told me, he goes, man, we need to really get, he was talking about the guys of the youth group kind of to reconnect. And so good on Jeff. He took initiative and sent out a group text to those of us. And we still get occasional messages from people in that, but that would be something to have a youth group reunion.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Right.
Could we even remember everybody who's in the youth group? My memory's not that great.
Well, I mean, it spans. We did this from my youth group in Colorado, when I graduated from college, we went out there and we got some of the old group together. And like you're saying, Justin, I mean, like where does the cutoff, what era do we cut this off, or do we try to get people involved in? And it would be hard, but it would be really cool to see where everybody's at and hear from people.
That would be so fun. At one point, I feel like Larry did one, right? Larry Keese.
I think he tried. Yeah, I think he did put together something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But now with social media, it it might be a little bit easier to do
Right.
something like that
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it would be super fun to do that.
Sounds like we could all meet in Minneapolis.
You could.
So, yeah, you have a giant house for all of us to hang out in, right?
Giant
Just
what?
like a giant house. Yeah, we'll just
Yes, my house is enormous.
Yep. Figured everybody will be good.
Enormous 2-bedroom house.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
It'd just be like those sardine games that we used to play back.
Oh my
geez.
goodness.
So
Yes, you know what I think about sometimes is laser tag in the church I don't know who higher up people at church they were not happy that we were playing laser tag in the church. But I think back on that now and I'm like, I cannot believe that we did that.
Oh, they did it up until we moved the church recently. They were still playing laser tag in the church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
My daughter I don't think they played when Brenton was playing. So they did it up until they recently moved. So
wow.
When Brenton started going to the youth group. So
wow.
Yeah, I just moved the box of laser tag guns in the new storage place, so I know where they're all at right now.
Okay, well, an activity for our reunion.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll do it when the church gets built out. We'll do a reunion at the new church space in Lincoln, and then we'll just do it all there.
So they're building a new church?
So the church property sold, and then we bought out that Belmont Rec Center, north side of town, and building out the grocery store, the old grocery store that used to be there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, a lot of moving and shaking going on.
Yeah.
But
cool.
See, Cara, you didn't think we were having anything to talk about. We just went an hour.
We did. Easy. Oh, I knew there'd be plenty.
Yeah, and we didn't kill Justin very much, so that's good. We're my secrets are still good. No skeletons came out anymore.
I know.
Besides my fingernail painting, we won't talk about. I don't know what else we would talk about.
You're never going to forgive me, are you?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm just surprised that nothing got brought up about my driving, my music.
I thought about that too, but I was like, I'll leave that alone. The Ford Tempo that had the automatic seatbelt that you would leave because you didn't want to wear your seatbelt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wear your seatbelt, Justin.
Still don't.
I know you don't.
Hope my kids, I wear my seatbelt, kids. No. Well, my daughter doesn't listen to the podcast, so I guess it'd only be my son.
Okay.
He always yells at me, too, so.
I'm sure he wears his seatbelt, don't you, PJ?
I do 90% of the time, yes.
You like ish. I do ish.
I do more than I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Since I drive a 1996 Camry, it doesn't yell at me if I don't have it on. So that's kind of nice. But yeah.
That's what's the nice thing about owning those older cars is it doesn't scream at you.
It doesn't scream at you.
That's true.
And the Toyota, and most Toyotas will stop yelling. I had a 4Runner for a while, and I mean, after a couple blocks, it stopped screaming at you, so that was okay too.
There's some cars you get in, and I just want to push it into a lake.
Just put your seatbelt on.
That's not if I'm just if I just want to go to the grocery store right up the street, I'm not going to put it on that long. And I know you can get in an accident anywhere. I got it. I'm not immune to it. Got it. Whatever. Things never change with you, both of you.
I know. You either.
Oh yeah, it's me. I'm the problem.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was going to say, is that a Taylor Swift song?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, BJ, you asked this question. The very thing, we always close the interview with a poignant section here where we leave the room open for you, Cara, to just whatever's on your heart, on your mind, anything that you want to let the world know. I don't know the last time I checked how many countries we're in.
We are global.
We are global. So,
wow. Okay. That's a lot of pressure.
I don't know if there's anything just anything that's on your heart. Anything that you wanted to get off the chest. set the record straight on anything, here's your time.
Set the record straight on anything.
Yeah.
Like my soapbox moment. Okay. Wow. I did not know this was coming.
This is what we do.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, when I think back on like high school, keeping it related to what we're talking about and everything, but when I think back to high school, like I did not love high school, even though we joke about like our different high schools and Southeast was the best, or
No, here we go.
No, I'll slip that in, but
Yep.
I did not like high school. I really didn't. What I did love was youth group. That was like my place where I could go and just be who I could just be myself. I could be silly. I could be quiet. I could be whatever, quirky. And I just knew I was welcome there. I felt welcomed by the friends that I had made there. So I think like those are just really fond memories. So I just appreciate that you guys had me on because it is just a cherished time from the past. And we went through a lot together, even if we haven't, BJ and I haven't kept in too much touch in the last many years, but I think there's a lot of special memories, and I just really cherish those friendships that have lasted for all of this time. So, yeah, that's my
Thank
piece.
you for sharing that. That's really cool. As you were saying that and trying to keep it into that general time frame and era, there were a lot of times when I would go get ready for youth group that you look forward to seeing certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. I mean, there's that group that we had. I mean, we were tight knit. You know, it was fun. It was, seeing you and seeing Kara and Evan and Nick and Abby and all of those people that it was like, I hope they're going to be there tonight. Because like what you're saying, it was. It didn't matter what school we went to. It didn't matter what was going on in our lives. When we came to youth group, we were hanging out, we were having fun, and we didn't want to go home.
Right.
And those were great times. And as it carried on into adulthood, and we shared some memories in adulthood, those were fun times as well. So
On Oldham, is this what you're talking about? Oldham party? Just joking. Wasn't that the name of the street that the house was on?
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, should I not go there with the hole in the ceiling?
No, we should tell that. Wow, let's tell the story. All right. So youth groups. Okay. Yeah. So youth groups. One of the fun games we used to play is sardines. Mm-hmm. So, Cara, what happened as we got older? What did we do?
Oh my goodness. Well, Nick and Nate had a party at their house. 3 of us were there. A bunch of other people that I don't know. I don't remember who else, but a bunch of people were there. And what did we decide to do? As now grown, we were like 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Like, let's play sardines after we
Becky was there too. Yeah, we had adult beverages.
I was going to say we had some adult beverages.
Yeah.
The name of that was Jungle Juice.
Jungle Juice.
So here we are, our 20-something selves, grown-ups. Full grown is what I'm saying. We weren't little kids anymore, but
in a tiny house,
in a rather small house, and some of us, who shall remain nameless, found a crawl space.
No, his name is Nick, but you can just say it. Yeah, we'll just say it. Yeah, he listens, so he'll hear it.
And it was in his house, and so
it was in his house.
He knew they lived there, didn't they?
He lived
there. No. Oh, sorry. He was renting. I meant he didn't own it. Yeah.
But they were living there. That was correct. He knew the house, and so he knew the spot he was hiding in. Yeah.
Wait, was it Nick? No.
What?
Was it Nick whose leg went through the ceiling?
Yes, it was Nick.
Okay, all of a sudden, I couldn't remember who it was. Sorry, BJ, I thought it was you.
No. I was up there with him, like when it happened, because we all ended up finding him up there, but you had to walk on the beams to get to where he was hiding. And I mean, there were, I think If I'm not mistaken, though, that was one of the better spots because there wasn't a lot of us that found him.
Right.
And
He
then
looked and looked and no one could find him.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, everybody come out. And I remember being up there with him, but no, it wasn't me that went through the roof.
Okay. And then it was like, we're all a couple drinks in, and all of a sudden the party, like, talk about a sobering moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was
It
over.
was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and his legs coming through the ceiling. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, Nick. I hope you're laughing with us.
Well, we always give somebody an opportunity to come on and correct their version of the story. So
yeah, sure.
This is a shout out to Nick. He's more than welcome to come on. We would love to have him on the show for sure. So
Nick,
I think somebody. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said Nick. Tag you're it.
Tag you're it. Yeah. And I think somebody in our church was telling us that they bought a house on that street, and I swear they bought that house.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
I think we were talking about it, and I was describing it, and they literally bought the house that we used to party in.
I think you and Nate confirmed that.
Walk on the
yeah, because I even like described to the mom and dad, like, these are spots in the house that this is where Becky hid in a dirty clothes hamper, and then this is where somebody hid under a bed. Becky loves it. I think that's the right part of that story. I don't know.
That's so funny. You said your memory's not good. I don't believe you because I do not remember.
No, it's just places. Becky reminds me of these things. With all of Becky's traumas, unfortunately, not being married to me, but medical traumas, she remembers like little things like that, and it's so interesting to what she picks up on and what she remembers and brings back. You talk about that party, she'll tell you that story. She'll tell you where she was hiding. She'll tell you how she realized how much bigger I am when I've had a few to drink. Like, she can't physically move me because she calls me a large giant or something. I don't really know, but whatever. Anyways, so it's interesting.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, that's a good memory.
Nate will probably comment on it first. Nate's usually on top of these things.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, but
Nate set us straight if we got anything wrong.
Yeah,
we'll hear about it.
We need to have Nick on, and we need to have Byron on, and we need to have Emily on, and we need to get the whole crew. That would be cool. So
we could get a Leffler sibling episode.
That would be fun.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if Byron will say much, but
yeah, maybe. I don't know. We were talking about the Posted Nickel, that store that used to be downtown. So Byron's wife used to work there.
Okay.
And so one summer several years ago when I was home, actually, I think it was the first time I brought Brian home with me. We went out, like some of us went out, and you might have come.
I think I met up with you guys later.
Yeah, we went.
I think I met up with you guys at that time.
I think too, because I feel like Nate came too, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I remember
Byron.
Yeah.
Byron brought her, and they were
dating.
Yeah, I think they were dating, and we saw each other, and right away we were like, "Oh my goodness!" Because I used to stop there a lot.
She's like, you're like, oh, our gold member just walked in.
Right. Yes. And we would always be there when my sister was visiting, and my little niece, who's now 20, almost 27, 26. I was like, yeah, she's now however old she was then. And Erica, Byron's wife, was like, what? Because she would just be like this little toddler waddling all around us. We're trying on all the clothes.
I think that's the same night we went to. Didn't we go to the tavern on the square too afterwards?
Yes, we did. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was that night.
We tried to go to that speakeasy, but it was closed.
Yeah,
it was.
No, it just had too many people in it.
Sure.
It was limited capacity. Speakeasy. Mm. Shout out to the speakeasy and by the tavern square. If you want to sponsor our podcast, let us know. We're looking for sponsors anytime. No.
Love it.
Well, good memories. This has been awesome.
Yes,
Thanks for sharing your story with us. This is
yes,
fun to reconnect, and
yeah,
I know it's fun for BJ because he hasn't talked to you I very much.
right.
I don't even remember what reconnected us. But then I was just like, you were telling me about your job, and I was like,
Hmm.
this. I, I could feel the passion in your voice about it, and so
Yeah,
I was happy that you got on to talk about it and other things. So this is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
guys.
it's really
I
cool.
enjoyed
Thanks
it a
for
lot.
thanks for joining us, and thanks for what you're doing. Keep up the good
Oh,
work. I
Yeah.
know it's a
thank
fight. I
you.
know it's not always easy, but kudos to you, and blessings on you and Brian and your family and your marriage. And it's good to reconnect. So it's good to see you, Carl.
Yes, yes. Thank you guys. It was great to see you both. Hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Well, it's been good. It's been another week, and number 41 is in the books. So thanks for joining us. And just remember, as you're going about life, be kind to people, be yourself, be genuine, and keep looking up. So here's to another week. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
See you later.